Hi everyone, welcome back to Bonsai Expression. I'm Christoph, and those of you that are new here, welcome. Anyway, today you might have a look around and you'll see how hot it is. The sun is out and I am basking in all its glory. Man, it's really hot. Anyway, you're not here for the sun, although I bet you wish you were. Today we are looking at my Portuguese laurel. Over here in the UK it is predominantly used as a hedging, no, it's a hedging plant really. They grow pretty decent, I think to about 8 feet in tall. For you Yanks over here, I have no idea how 8 feet is because we are metric and not imperial. So that's pretty big. I think it's about 2.5, maybe 3 meters in total. Pretty big, used as a hedging, as I say, keeps out neighbours and just general hedging, as I say. So I got it for £15 from a local nursery. I did a couple of big chops on it and I thought, let's go, let's try and get it into a bonsai pot. First things first, you cannot throw a general tree in a bonsai pot. You've got to do a bit of training first to reduce that root ball. So that was step one. So I work in hospitality, as some of you already know, and I get fruit baskets. In fact, I get vegetable baskets as well, and we've got these baskets that we get our mushrooms in. And I brought one of those home, so when I did my big root chop first of all and my first repot, I put it in one of those, and now it started to expand with roots, and the tree is looking a little bit worse for wear. I've got yellowing leaves as it's pushing this year's growth, so I need to get it out of that, start looking at the roots, get it into something a little bit more reasonable in terms of pot, a little bit deeper, a little bit better of a training pot, because those yellowing leaves are first sign of possibly too many roots, maybe root bound even. The pot, as I say, is pretty shallow because it is just a fruit basket. So we're going to go into something a little bit more bigger and a little bit more bonsai related, into a proper bonsai training pot, and that is all we're going to do today, is take a look at those roots, give them a bit of a trim and get it in a nicer pot. Now, as I say, Portuguese laurels not really used for bonsai, so I think I might be the first person to do this, and I will show you the tree. I'll take you off the tripod and I'll give you a whiz and show you which tree it is. You might have seen it because it's usually just sat here on the bench. I've recently moved it to get us a different camera angles, but I'm going to get you off. I'm going to fly over and have a look, and then once we've had a quick look, show you those yellowing leaves, and we'll start working on it. But yeah, so this tree, as I say, is a hedging tree. It's evergreen and keeps its leaves all year round. It's recently started pushing growth. I've had about, I'd say, this much growth, and this is round about the time I did the original root prune, and it seemed to like it. So I don't really know too much about these trees other than the evergreen. Don't really know anything, as I say, in terms of when to root prune or anything like that. I could treat them as if they were a normal hedge like the privet, but I did it this time of year, as I say, when I did the last one, and it seemed to respond really well to it. So I'm going to stick with that, which is let it grow a little bit, get it established, and then do the trim on the roots. Worked well last time, so I'm assuming it's going to work well this time. So let's get you off the tripod. Little walk over here. So this is my Portuguese laurel. As you can see, it's in the little fruit basket. All the mushrooms came in this, and it is starting to push out, so it's bulging just here on both sides and over on the side. You can see I've got plenty of weeds. So if I just move out a little bit, you can see this thing is pretty decently sized. So it's got some big chops, and we cut these ones here, here, and then if I move up into the canopy, I've got a chop towards here as well. And we've got a little chop just in there somewhere, just there. So this is growing the new leader. So I've got some growth, but as you can see, some of the leaves are not opening proper, and they are yellowing. This has a habit of all the older leaves start to droop like this, and then some of them do tend to fall off as the new growth kicks in. As I say, the new growth just here, I've got 1 or 2 leaves just growing in. So this is the time of year I like to go in and do the roots. This is what I did last year, not last year, I think it was 2, maybe 3 years ago actually I did it, with a big massive root ball that it had. It came in a massive drum. I don't know how big it was, but the drum pot it was in, it was absolutely huge. I mean, it took 2 of us to lift it. So we've got a bit of growth, so now is the time I'm going to do the root work again. So these leaves here, as you can see, they're looking pretty worse for wear. Good signs again, as I say, that the pot there is the roots are pot bound. I've got all these roots here, so they are struggling, but I have got plenty of new growth, as you see, just here. And these lower leaves that have just come out are very healthy. But I'm going to go in now, take a deep dive into this, make sure everything's all right. But this is the size of the trunk, so it's a good size. I think this is the back side of it, but on the other side I've got all my other trees. So what I'll do is I'll put this on the bench. We'll get into this. It is in my soil, so all it is just the kitty litter soil. There is no other mix in it, it's just pure kitty litter soil. So as I say, the original soil was just pure compost, whatever you get in the garden centres. Now the original pot I had was probably a little bit wider than this, probably to about here on both sides. So, and then it was as deep as where the top of the tree is now, all the way down to the floor. So you can see it was, if I move out, it was that big, and that's what it was growing in, a huge pot. Oh, there's some more of my trees, by the way. Nice little hibiscus. Just dropped its leaves, just dropped its flowers. They were the colour of the flowers on it. They were beautiful. A couple of my Chinese elms there. But we're here for this one. So I'm going to get this one on the bench, and we're going to get a look into these. So even though it's a basket, I've had none of the roots grow through. But as I say, it is bulging like there's a whole lot of roots in here. I've no idea what the root systems are like on these, whether they're thick and gnarly or they have nice little fine feeder roots, but I've never had any of the roots pop through these, which is a bit weird. It could be a fact that I've got all this moss and I've got loads of weeds in here and it's taking over and strangling the root system. I have no idea, but that's what we're in it today to find out. See, I've got a few weeds here, so we will find out. I'm going to find out how heavy this is as well now. So I'll move this over and I will see you on the bench. So this is the Portuguese Laurel as it sits. I think this is probably the front. I could never always decide whether it was going to be this one as the front or not. This was always probably maybe the back or this. I could never really decide. They both got the pros, they both got the cons. Both of them are growing. I tried getting branches growing and they just always needed a little bit of wire to get into the shape. So these were coming out, they just needed all wire into the correct places. They both need branches coming on the trunk, but I never really got anything growing on the branch, on the trunk itself to get the branches. As you can see, I just need the right direction. Oh, the right branches, just wiring in the right direction just to give it that little bit of movement. But I think ultimately I will probably have this this is the front, but I think I'm going to give it a slight angle when I repot it. So if I just check on the camera, yep, I think I'm going to pot it up probably at a slight angle just like that, and then this will be my front. I'll probably remove this one, and then it gives this more depth at the back, and it also gives it more of a nice rounded tree rather than a two-dimensional tree and then forcing the growth. At least if I move it there, it's got the more of a three-dimensional tree already there, and then I can sort of wire this down a little bit and then at least get the growth coming into this direction. Possibly just move the branches in over. So if I move you in a little bit better, just there. If I move you in, if I get you in just a little bit better there. So originally the tree was going to be like this, and it's a little bit flat, so just changing the angle just there like that, as I say, it gives you a little bit more three-dimensional. And while I'm talking, all these yellow leaves are just falling away. So as I say, I don't know. Oh, there we go. So it is sort of a natural thing that this tree does. It does tend to lose its older leaves, but I don't tend to have that many. It doesn't tend to do it as often with this many leaves, so I'm a bit concerned. But I would like to get it in some fresh soil anyway, so I want to investigate the roots further down. So I'm going to do that. As I say, when I do repot it, I'm going to change the angle, give it that angle there. It just changes it up, just something like that. As you can see, it changes it, so you can see that section there, it grows a little bit in the different direction. So I just like it a little bit better. So let's move you on a different angle. Let's get you having a look at the roots. As you can see, this tree is pretty large. I'm stood up, and it's on the bench, and it's as tall as me now. So I'm gonna try and get this out in one movement. I'm not too worried about snapping or breaking this. And I'm not on about the tree. I don't want to be breaking the tree, but the base itself, or the pot, the basket, whatever you want to call it, not too worried or concerned about breaking that. So there we go. You can see it's pushing out. It's deformed. So when I put it in, I put it in my normal soil, just a litter, and I also put it in some netting just to make sure that it didn't fall through. Because the holes on these, excuse me, the holes on these baskets are pretty sizable. So I've got some decent sized weeds there. They are pretty sizable, so they do fall through. So the netting just holds them in place. So there you can go. You can see the size of the weeds that I've got growing in there. So I'm going to scrape away all this. I've got Scotch moss on top, by the looks of it. Plenty of weeds. I've got moss growing on the top of the tree as well. So I will keep a little bit of that. Try and clean the tree up as best as I can in between these roots. Fair bit of Scotch moss. So let's start working into this. Now this is going to take me quite a while, so I think what I'll do is I'll dig into it. Well, the roots are quite... So the roots already are all surface roots, look at that. I'll just clear some of this off so you can see. And I will give it a bit of a spray because it's really hot. I want to keep these roots nice and moist. So let me show you them roots already. So you can see these roots. Those nice fibrous roots. So what I will do, I've got an awful lot of an awful lot of this base to go through. So I will go through it all, get it all nice and neat, rake it out. You see all the roots here. I'll rake it all out and then I'll come back, show you what we're working with, and see how we're looking. And yeah, I won't let you watch all this because this will take me quite a while. The root system's pretty big, and as soon as we're up to date, we'll get in. There's no point in sitting here going through it all. So I'll be back in a minute with you guys. Now all I've done is I've gone through I've rigged all the old soil out, which was just, as I say, my old mix, and I've blasted the rest of the soil out with the hose pipe, and I've just then gone and just got the rest of the soil that was in there, and I've just combed it out, just so. I've not gone through and snipped anything off apart from the little knob here, and this is what I'm left with. I mean, that's the root system. Obviously when I've combed out, I have pulled some of the roots, so some of the root masses that have been knotted have come away with it, but tell you what, Portuguese Laurel root systems, absolutely brilliant. You'd think this tree was designed for bonsai. I mean, it's brilliant. Everything seems to be well developed. I mean, I'm really happy. There is a couple of roots that I do need to just sort out and correct. This one has come down and fused. There's nothing really at the bottom. I think maybe, just looking at it, do I correct it? I think I'll just leave it for the time being. I've got moss everywhere that I do need to clean up. It's not coming away as easy as I'd like. Some of it's coming off relatively easy. Just with an old toothbrush, circular motions, but the bristles are not as stiff as I would like, so I'm going to have to get a heavier toothbrush or a harder brush shortly. But for now, I'm just going to go in and just dig at it later on. In terms of the root mass, I'm just going to go around and have a look at it. It seems relatively even. This side seems a little bit heavy, so I'm just going to come in, just snip on. So I'll just do this just so it's balances that root mass a little bit. It's a bit more heavy on one side. These ones up here, a bit too tall. Need to bring them down. Just going to take these ones down as well. Got a couple of dead ones up here. In fact, I'm just going to take this one out. This is dead. Take that off. I'm going to neaten this up as well. I don't like where that's coming from. That's as well. I'm going to clear this whole section here. These ones I'm going to take off. I don't like them. Spoiling the flow of my tree. This one also as well. I'm going to take that one out. Looks a hell of a lot better now. It's got nice flow going on. It's a lot better. Take these better. So the flow of this side of the tree looks an awful lot better, but just by getting rid of those roots. Comes down more like a waterfall, cascading. There we go. Looks better. Just going to neat that one up. This one's growing off the side. We'll close that off. That grows up. Take that out and that one as well. It comes from in here. I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm just going to try and neaten everything up. Make sure everything flows. Got a couple of roots that grow upwards. I'm just going to leave that. Well, I'm not going to leave. I'm just going to take those out. Everything generally is growing in the right direction, flowing correctly. That one grows over everything. I'm just going to take that one off. I'd say the root system is really well established and is growing exactly how I like it. This section I'm just going to come in, try and neat that one back. Same with this. Move round. Got these few roots here, spoiling the. That one comes out as well, that's spoiling. Now I've just done a profile prune all the way around. I didn't show you that just because it's, you know, it's a bit boring. You don't really need to see it, but all I've done is just gone all the way around. Profile prune just to even off all the roots. And just gonna clean this little knob up here. It's just needs cleaning up, just to smoothing out the lines of the rest of the roots. It comes down, it's just sticking out, so we're just going to clean that up. Generally overall the flowing of all the rest of the roots goes down nicely, and then we've got just little bits in here that we just need to just come in, just take out. Just don't want those in here. This one here needs coming off. This one just on here, and we've got these ones here. It just sticks up. Just take that off. Generally the roots on this are really good. You know, I don't have any trouble. Everything seems to be going down. I don't have anything crossing. Apart from this one here, just this one sticks up. You won't see it. I'm not going to turn it around. And then everything just comes down nicely. I don't have any problems with it. I don't have to mess about with it. The only thing I do need to do is just clean off this moss. That's stuck in all the crevices. So I'm going to proceed to do all that. And then once we've done that, we can look at repotting it. So if we can get all this moss off, happy days. Simple toothbrush, bit of elbow grease, goes a long way. It's like 26 degrees now, I think it is. So these roots, I don't want to keep them out too long. Keep misting them. I've got a root here that comes up. Just going to take that one back as well. Coming out the profile. So we've made a little cut here. We need to knot one up as well. So here's the moss. See if we can get all this out. So I'll proceed to get this moss out, and then once it's done, we'll come back and we'll get it all potted up. So I've got the tree tied in, as you can see. You lift it up, the pot comes with it, and I've also started filling the tree with the soil, and I've started working all the soil in between the roots, making sure there's no air pockets, because I want to obviously get it in. We don't want the air pockets. If we don't have any air pockets there, that could potentially kill off any of the roots, and obviously the very fine feeder roots, we don't want that happening. Any roots that do die off could leave us with a potential hole, and that could potentially kill off part of the tree, so we don't want that. You will see that I have angled it up and potted it at a different angle, which I did talk about earlier on. So we've potted it here. Originally it was potted up here, which left it at more of a two-dimensional tree. So now on this angle here, it is more three-dimensional, which gives us the option now of growing this section out in all different directions. It's already started there. So we've got this section here, which is now coming towards us on a 45-degree angle, and this one is going backwards on a 45-degree angle as well, which opens it up. This side, the same sort of thing, here and here, and then we can grow this top section over this way as well. Gives us plenty more options in the future, and generally just thought it looks an awful lot better. The trunk flare looks generally really good overall, every angle that we've got, and gives us more options down at the bottom for all these new growths. Does need a trim. This one's growing right across, but first things first, I'm just going to go ahead, get the roots all established in the next few weeks. Once it's re-established in this pot, we'll come back midsummer, and then we'll look at how much growth we've got and get it trimmed back where we want to go. It's already got the nice conical shape. In fact, it looks an awful lot better in this angle. We've got more of that conical shape going on here, so it just accentuates that. So let's continue to fill it up with the soil, working it in some more. I'll do this off camera because this is going to take forever, and this is one of the more boring aspects of bonsai, especially on camera. So we're going to do that off camera, and then I'll come back and we'll do the outro and show it you. Hey everyone, so it's all watered in, repotted. I've got rid of all them air pockets. So as you can see, new angle, looks great. The only thing that's bugging me right now is this branch here. I'm just gonna snip it off because it's gonna go in the future anyway. So that opens it up right there. So now you can see the full trunk. You can see as it's been fertilized and it's got lots of growth really fast. It's got a big crack. It's pushed growth so fast it's cracked up in the middle. So it's got a nice little feature there. So here it is, all nice. Unfortunately, as you can see, we've got the yellowing leaves, but hopefully they should probably drop off and we'll get that new growth when now it's been repotted. It's got lots of new room for the roots to expand in this lovely little pot. It's not really little, it's quite big, and it's nice and heavy now. As you can see, we've put it on that new angle, so we've got all this growth here. It's gone all the way back. It's pushed this one on a new angle as well, so it's giving a nice figure of depth. Instead of that 2D horrible image it used to represent, it's now got a nice depth to it over here, and it's also got a nice visual representation here coming at you, and it's now over here as well, going backwards. You can see obviously I've got going here, it's going backwards, it's reaching outwards, and we've got the crown just up here. The new angle suits it a hell of a lot better. The tree looks more three-dimensional, as I say, rather than a two-dimensional it did look, which was the original planted angle just there. It looked flat. Just by simply changing the direction, it's giving it more rounded feature. So there we go. I'll come back in a few weeks, middle of summer, we'll see how it's doing. Hopefully, as I say, I don't really know too much about these trees. I think I am the only one, at least I know that I've done a Portuguese laurel. If anyone out there who's done one, please do let me know, but as far as I'm aware, I'm the only one in the bonsai community that has attempted one of these, or is doing one of these. So, this is where we're at with it. I think this is 2.5 years in the making, a few cuts, and this is where we're up to with it. I have no idea how old the tree is. It's gotten really hot over here in the UK today. It's like 26 degrees and I can't see anything. But less about the weather, more about my Portuguese laurel. What do you think of it? I think it's coming along really nicely. I don't really know too much about these trees other than, as I say, the hedging trees over here in the UK. And I'm attempting to bonsai it. So, if you like this one, please do give me a thumbs up. Share this video to people that you think might be interested in this Portuguese laurel. And if you've not subscribed, please do so, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone. Catch you later.